Have you ever woken up with your mind just swarming with thoughts? Maybe you had a bad dream and now you're starting your day off on a negative foot. That's exactly what happened to me this morning. And so I wanted to share with you how I have processed and moved through so that I can hit the reset button for my day. As you can see, I'm still in my pajamas. I don't have any makeup on. And it's because I was really excited to share with you the process that I went through to move through these negative feelings. I had a bad dream last night, and it's a dream that, because of what I've went through in my life, I have this dream often. And it just gives me yucky feelings. I wake up feeling yucky. My mind was swarming. I tried to do some things. I tried to meditate and I just couldn't sit still. I couldn't keep my mind on like letting go of the thoughts. I found myself really trailing off and going down deep rabbit holes. So then I got up, made my coffee, and I wanted to read because I like to read in the morning. It's when I find inspiration. And I couldn't even concentrate on reading. I found myself rereading each paragraph over and over again, and I wasn't really getting anything out of it. So what I did was I sat down and I tried to process some of these feelings. And so I used my EMDR paddles, and EMDR is a modality that it's eye movement therapy, and it's something that they use it for people with PTSD. And I've been in EMDR for years and years and years, since 2018, and it's really helpful. I've been in it long enough that I've learned how to do self-processing here at home. So I got my paddles out and I started to process and went through the motions, and a lot of things came up. And after I was done, I tried to go about my day, but I was still, you put this on Do Not Disturb. I was still feeling very scattered. Just like I would go to do something and I would like forget, why am I here to do this? Like, so I finally sat down to journal. Usually, when I journal after I've gone through a process like EMDR, it is the most helpful because it helps me kind of take everything that I've learned through that process and organize it. So I just had a lot of clutter in my head, and it just helps me take all that clutter, organize it, and dejunk what is not needed and clear it up. I love feeling clarity. So I wanted to share with you. I journaled, and normally I type, but this time my dog was sitting in my lap and I didn't have the heart to make him get up because he likes his morning snuggles. So I journaled in writing, and I'm going to read to you what I journaled because it'll help you understand how I processed everything with through the EMDR. And another reason why I want to share this with you is because I remember in the beginning of my personal development, I would take courses, or I would even through therapy, I would be like, okay, I'm going to go to therapy, so everything's going to work in this session, or I'm going to learn this information from a course, and then it's just magically going to make my life better. And that wasn't the case. I remember vividly the day I was in the Lisa Nichols Certified Transformational Trainer program, and that was a very costly course. And I remember halfway through when they were teaching us, because to be able to help transform people, you have to have transformed yourself. So we had to go through the process of what transformation looks like. And I remember halfway through throwing an absolute fit, being like, I paid all this money and you're telling me that I now have to do more work on myself. Meaning, I just, like I said, I thought that just learning this information was just going to magically change everything. And it didn't. I actually had to put the skills that I was learning into action. I had to implement them into my life. So that meant when I wasn't feeling good, which was a normal thing for me back then, I actually had to do something to make myself feel better. Before that, I was relying on everyone else to make me feel better. My kids, my friends, my employers, my family. Like I was really feeling like my life was dependent on all these outside sources. And when I reached that tipping point of learning that, okay, it, I really care about my happiness, I care about feeling better, then I started to slowly implement these tools that I've learned. And journaling is one of those tools. The EMDR is one of those tools that I've learned. But again, that was something that came from many, 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 many years of trauma therapy. That's why I wanted to read this to you. I just want to open up and let you see how it worked. And forgive me if, I already don't read very well out loud. And my handwriting is horrible. So I might have trouble reading my own handwriting. Okay. I woke up this morning with my head swarming with negative thoughts. I dreamed all night long that my husband was cheating on me. In my past dreams, I would yell and scream at him, but this time I stood there with my arms crossed, feeling anger towards everyone around me. After writing that, I see how holding on to the anger for someone else can spill into all of the other relationships in my life. I also see that in my dream, that was the version of me that shut down. I see how me shutting down and not speaking up or using my voice can negatively impact my relationships. I also see that I am still holding on to pain from my past. Doing so keeps me shut down and non expressive. In order to build the career I choose and fulfill my life's purpose, I need to reconnect with my authentic self. In order to do that, I need to be able to express myself. And in order to do that, I need to be able to let go of the past pain. Letting go of the past pain will allow me to be vulnerable and authentic. After doing some self EMDR this morning, I realized that being vulnerable feels terrifying because it would feel like standing naked in front of the world. I then processed why it feels scary. I realized that I was afraid of what people would say about my body, that I'm fat, ugly, basically all of the things I say to myself on a regular basis. Wow, I wrote. That was a big thing. I didn't realize that I was saying those things to myself. They were all running on a subconscious level, but I know that that's what I say when I look in a mirror at my body. I say those things, I think those things. I then realized that some people may do that. Some people may look at me and judge my body and say nasty things. Others won't even notice, and some may be very grateful because it allowed them to be brave and try vulnerability. I realized in my head that there are three groups. One of those groups, the smallest group, I was terrified of. I realized that the comments of that negative group cannot affect me unless I let them. I also realized that that group is probably even smaller than I think because I do not resonate with them as it pertains to our energy. Like attracts like. So the only way I would attract people like that is if I am resonating with them. And if I see that I am attracting them, then that is a sign that I have more to clean up in my head. Therefore, I can be grateful for their guidance. I love that because when we look at other people and maybe they've done something that has hurt us, we don't realize that they're actually a mirror for us. And if I have a bunch of people hating on me, I'm attracting that. And most of the time it's because something deep down inside of myself is doing the same thing. So by viewing that as guidance, I can be grateful for it. And that was really powerful. That's empowering. That's not feeling like a victim. That's feeling empowered. So that was the end of my journaling. And I wrote, before journaling, I felt scattered in my head, unable to meditate or read because my head was cluttered with random negative thoughts. After journaling, I feel clear-headed, And I realized that the original subject, a cheating husband, was the surface level of a deep belief that was asking to be released. The belief that I am unworthy. I now understand that my worth does not come from anyone else but me. I wanted to share this because first I wanted to show that you have it, we all have it in us to make ourselves feel better. When we learn to let go of the expectations of other people, right? Expectations that we put on other people and that we think other people are putting on us, when we can let those go. And that takes time. That takes time. It takes knowledge. It takes implementation. It doesn't just happen overnight. But when we learn to let go of those things, we realize that we have it in us to make ourselves feel better and to create the life that we want. I could have woken up this morning and realized where I was at. Maybe, the past version of me probably wouldn't have even realized it. I would have moved through my day and it would have affected my whole day. I would have been in a bad mood. I would have taken it out on my husband, my family, my friends, taking it out on my friends by ignoring my friends. Like I tend to introvert, like I go inside myself when I'm not feeling good. And so I don't reach out to people. And I take it out on my husband by just being in a bad mood and not accepting his happiness and not, being playful with him. But the version of me today that has gained knowledge and has implemented the tools that I've learned to release the negative belief systems, that version of me feels better. I didn't feel good when I woke up this morning. I was able to recognize that I didn't feel good. I was able to step back and see the thoughts, hear the thoughts that were going on in my head. I knew that something was off, but I didn't know what it was. And so I used my EMDR and journaling. Now, for those of you who don't have EMDR, if you are struggling with traumatic experiences, I would highly recommend it. It has been very helpful to me. But also understand that what's helpful for one person may not be helpful for another. EMDR with a trained therapist was just something that helped me to process some of the traumatic events so that they didn't control me and they didn't have power over me. Another really amazing tool that I use very, very often is journaling. Journaling back when I was young, I used to be scared to journal. I didn't understand what it was for. So I would sit down and I'd be like, Dear Journal, and I'd write about what happened in my day. And then I'd rip the pages out because I was so afraid that someone else would see what happened in my day or what my thoughts were. I didn't understand that the journaling really isn't so much when you're working on personal development. It's not so much a record of your past, but it's a way to process the record of your past. So the events that happen that we're storing deep inside of our bodies that we don't realize are there, that's a way to pull them up and out, to understand where it comes from, and to be able to ask yourself, is this serving me? Right? So I realized that that belief that I've worked on several times, that belief that I'm unworthy, which I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. And I've worked on that belief a lot of times. So it's not just a one and done thing either. There are layers of the belief. And I've worked on several layers of that belief that I'm not worthy. But because of this dream, I was able to work on another layer. And my mind doesn't feel scattered anymore. I feel clarity. I feel excited to move through my day. I feel excited to move through the tasks of my day that felt really mm, it felt really heavy before this morning when I woke up. And I just wanted to share that with this community to show you what it looks like. And maybe you wake up and you don't have time to process. Maybe you wake up, you're in a bad mood. Something has happened. Your mind is swarming with thoughts. You have to go to work. Something's happened where you don't have the time, like I did this morning, to sit down, to process things, and to journal and figure it out. Even if I was going to work, I would sit in my car as I'm driving and I would journal out loud. I would talk out loud. I didn't care who saw me because this was about me feeling better. Being able to say all the things that are running through your head gets it out of your head because it's just swarming in there and it's causing you to feel stuck. So get in your car, and if you're mad at a person, pretend you're talking to that person and say all the things you want to say to that person. All the things. No one's going to hear you. Just say it all. If you're mad at a million people, or you've just got all kinds of things on your mind, just say it all. Just let yourself go. That will at least neutralize your energy so that you can move throughout your day, not taking it out on other people or yourself. So I just wanted to share that with you. I hope it's helpful. If you find that this was helpful and you are enjoying the content that I'm sharing, please like and subscribe or share this video with somebody that you feel it may help. Thank you.